Maybe you are having a little romance. But end it now.
Happy Valentine's Day, everybody.
Happy Valentine's Day.
You can tell I was really excited about it. Honestly, I had to put it on. I really had to try. Speaking of Valentine's Day, we've got a lovely storm outside.
I know, it's just great weather for a stroll. You're probably going to have to hold hands just to stay together. You're going to get blown apart.
It slightly resembles the cyclone in The Wizard of Oz.
Ever so slightly, yes.
I'm going to call it the Beast from the Wicked Witch of the East.
It could very well be.
But anyway.
What have we got in store today?
Rom-Coms. Nice, easy episode.
Yes.
A little less academic than we've been doing recently.
To give you some recommendations for this Valentine's Day. Or not, in my case.
There's a wild card in there, isn't there?
Well, it's not
Can't
good.
wait. So we've picked a favourite of ours each, a film that we've never watched each, and we've recommended one to each other as well. And we're going to start with a quiz, though.
Yes, we are.
We do enjoy a good quiz.
We do.
And we're doing a quiz each.
Yes, I'm feeling extremely nervous about this, as you wouldn't tell me what the topic was.
I just said that there's a
theme, and you'll
find
tell
out.
Me. So I'm a little bit nervous.
Well, without further ado, let's start the first quiz. Okay, so the theme of your 5-question quiz is Rom-Com threesomes, cast edition.
Okay.
Not a real threesome, not like that. We're not disgusting.
Not like that.
We're not one of those podcasts. So, your first question. Half a point if you get 2, and a full point if you get all 3.
Right, okay.
Can you name the 3 rom-coms starring both Adam Sandler and Drew Barrymore?
Oh, The Wedding Singer.
Correct.
50 First Dates and Blended.
Oh, I didn't think you'd get Blended.
I love that film, actually. It was
great. I really enjoyed it.
A surprise, because I was expecting it to be completely stupid.
Yeah.
But I did actually quite like it.
Full point. Nice one. Okay. In the film, You, Me and Dupree.
Oh, no.
Who played Dupree?
Oh, no. I haven't seen it. Okay, so...
He's on the poster. Don't worry, it's a man.
Yeah. That's helpful.
Just to sort of help you out.
Was it... It wasn't Owen Wilson, was it?
It was Owen Wilson.
Oh, my God. Well done,
yes,
me.
It was.
I'm quite impressed, actually, considering I've not seen the film. I'm quite impressed.
It's not very good, too.
That might be why I haven't seen it.
Yeah. Okay. There are 3 Bridget Jones films and 3 love interests throughout the series. But which actor played the father of her baby? Was it Hugh Grant, Colin Firth, or Patrick Dempsey?
I've only seen the film once.
Yeah,
Damn
me too.
Well, I know she makes Colin Firth the father, but I don't know whether he actually was.
She makes.
She decides to be with him, doesn't she? So I'm going to have to go with Colin Firth. So, yeah. Oh.
Yep, that's correct.
Oh, good.
In the rom-com This Means War, who plays the character fought over by Chris Pine and Tom Hardy's characters?
It's Reese Witherspoon, isn't it?
Correct.
Good. Again, I've not seen it.
And then, okay, right, I've got 2 options for the last question, depending on how well you've done.
Gonna go with the hard one, aren't you?
I'm going to go with my backup option, yeah. Okay. Can you name one actor/actress who has starred in more than one of the following? Valentine's Day, New Year's Eve, Mother's Day.
Julia Roberts.
Yeah, I'll give you that there. Julia Roberts is in Valentine's Day and Mother's Day. You could have also had Jessica Biel, Jennifer Garner, and Hector Elizondo, who's in all of them, actually.
Okay.
So, yeah, you actually got 5 out of 5.
Oh, well, I'm quite impressed. That's good. Okay.
Yeah, I'm
pleased with that. Okay.
Quiz 2.
Right, mine is more across the board. There isn't a specific theme. It's just rom-com related.
Go for it.
So, number 1. What is the name of Hugh Grant's character in Bridget Jones' Diary?
Oh,
I thought you'd gone then. I was about to say hello.
No, I'm here. My brain's gone. It's Daniel Cleaver.
That's right. Well done.
Cool.
Okay. Number 2. In 13 going on 30, which magazine does Jenna go to work for?
Oh, see, I've not seen that.
Oh no, that's
I'm guessing it's a famous magazine. It can't be a made-up name.
To be honest, I'm not sure actually.
Oh.
It's not one that I know, but it sounds like a real magazine, but I could not tell you. I'll give you a clue since you've not seen it. It begins with a P.
P. Points of View. I'd read it. Okay, hang on. Perspective magazine.
Is that your final answer?
Yeah, go for Perspective.
Okay, that is not the correct answer,
I haven't seen
unfortunately.
it.
The answer is Poise.
Poise.
Yes, you have to watch that. Okay, number 3. Which Shakespeare play is 10 Things I Hate About You based on?
I nearly did that question for you, knowing that it's based on a Shakespeare play, and I thought, no, I'm doing cast, so I never actually looked it up. I think it's The Taming of the Shrew.
That's right, it is.
Yeah, I've never read of that.
No, I haven't either.
Pointless
I'm
knowledge.
just going to stick with the film, I think. I think that'll do for me.
Yeah.
Okay, number 4. What colour is the door of William's house in Notting Hill?
Oh, I even watched it last year. It's like really like out there. I'm narrowing it down. It's either yellow or blue.
Okay. What is your final answer?
I think it must be bright yellow.
Going with yellow?
Yeah.
You sound so not sure about that one. Yeah? So you're going with yellow?
Yeah.
That is incorrect, I'm afraid. If you'd
Blue,
gone
is
with
it?
blue, you would have been right.
Yeah, I just remember it looking weird, and I thought blue. I've seen blue doors before. That's not so weird.
Okay, and number 5. Which
Did very well.
Jennifer Aniston rom-com came out first? The Breakup, Along Came Polly, Rumour Has It, or The Bounty Hunter?
Definitely not The Bounty Hunter. I don't think it's Along Came Polly. I'm going with Rumour Has It.
You're going with Rumour Has It. That is
Yeah.
incorrect, I'm afraid. It was
Don't
Along
like this
Came
quiz.
Polly, which came out
Was
in
it?
2004.
And I didn't know Rumour Has It, so I went for that one. She in one called Picture Perfect or something like that. That's quite old.
I'm not sure if she was in that
She
one.
might be in that,
Rumour
then.
Has It came out in 2005, so there's only a year between them. They were very close.
Never mind.
Oh, well.
I didn't do very well there.
You got 2 out of 5. You weren't to
Yeah.
know if you'd seen the films or not. It's a broad category.
Had I had a quiz on threesomes, I mean...
You'd have done very well.
Anyway, so there's
Okay.
the quiz. Ziz.
So we are jumping straight in with your first review, which is going to be the one you were recommended.
Yes, so we're going to do our recommended films first.
So what did I recommend to you, Matt?
The film that I'd only like partially seen before, which was When Harry Met Sally. Yes, contain your gasps.
Yay, my favourite.
From 1989. I imagine most people have seen this, so me describing the plot is going to be a bit redundant, but I'm going to do it anyway. So, because it was newish to me. So, after graduating from the University of Chicago in 1977, there are 2 people who have a mutual friend/girlfriend, and they've agreed to car share back to New York, but they've never met each other before. So who have we got? We've got Harry Burns, played by Billy Crystal.
In the worst wig you'll ever seen.
Is it a wig? I couldn't
It is
tell.
a wig, yeah. It's a terrible wig.
Yeah. How do I describe him? He's a bit gross, a bit trashy, a bit obnoxious. And then you've got Sally Albright, played by Meg Ryan, who's kind of a snobbish, uptight, bit stubborn character. So they're polar opposites of each other, really. The journey is a bit of a nightmare for Sally in particular. They argue most of the way. And
He spits on a window as well. I was disgusted
Can I
at
just
that. He was just
that was my favourite.
spits at a window.
That was my favourite bit. So yeah, he kind of like proposes this theory that, and this is the foundation of the whole film, that men and women can't be friends, for as long as either one of them finds the other one attractive.
Yeah,
Because sex always gets in the way and it ruins it. But then proceeds to tell her that he finds her attractive anyway. So she shuts him down. They reach New York, shake hands, have a nice life,
Yeah,
and
never
they
to
part
see
ways.
anyone again. Yeah.
Yeah, but hesitantly, part ways. There's like a lingering and then the rest of the film is kind of it's like a series of chapters in a way.
Yeah.
And it's like
they meet at
them
different
meeting.
ages, don't they? Yeah.
Yeah, so over the next 12 years, and initially it's like 5 years at a time that pass, and it's mostly chance encounters. You know, obviously the car share was sort of a coincidency thing, and then they meet in the airport, they meet in the bookshop at one point, and there's always a sense that there might be something between them, but they're always emotionally unavailable. You know, either they're with someone or they've just broken up or they've just been divorced and things like that. But they do eventually become best friends, but too afraid to sort of ruin what they've got and take it to the next level because of what Harry said when they first met. And that's one of their blockers, really, because Harry embodies like a pessimistic outlook on life, I guess. Like he's got these certain theories and lots
Always
of wisdom.
reads the last page of a book first in case he dies.
Yeah, that's right.
That's a good way of putting it.
Yeah, I mean, I think he fancies himself a bit of a relationship guru, but it's not really getting him anywhere.
No.
Which is quite funny. And then on the flip side, Sally is too guarded and doesn't like taking risks. So in a way, they're kind of perfect for each other because they're sort of mutually hopeless. And I like the way that the film frames them sometimes for our benefit, as if they were a couple. There's a bit where they ring each other before bed. Well, they're in bed, and they're watching the TV together, and it's done in split screen, so it looks like they might as well just be sharing the bed. I quite like that.
It's the type of film where you're just going, why are you two not together? Why are you with other people? What are you doing?
Idiots.
We know. How can you not know?
Yeah, so and then the other thing that was interesting about this is that all these different chapters and episodes are interspersed with mock interviews of elderly couples and how they got together, usually by chance or against the odds. I don't know how much I like that.
I'd love them. I think they're so cute.
I just don't know how much I like them being in the middle of the film. If it began and ended that way, I think it'd be a little bit better, because it does kind of distract from the story a little bit. Because they're breaking the fourth wall and stuff. And then I suppose last thing to mention is the cast, really. And I never used to like Billy Crystal, and I don't like him in some things.
That's fair enough.
I think when I tried watching this when I was younger, I think I struggled with him because he's not your conventional.
Oh yeah, no. I mean, you don't go Meg Ryan. Who can we put with Meg Ryan, the most gorgeous woman of the 80s? I think we'll go with Billy Crystal.
Yeah. Maybe that was a bit of a hurdle for me there, but I think it's easier to like him and understand him when you're a bit older.
Yeah.
And
this is why you should always give movies another try.
Oh, I do though.
No, I don't mean to you. I'm talking to our audience in general. I do think it's a
Mary,
great.
I've done it.
I do think it's a great thing to go back and watch a movie, maybe at a different period of your life, and you could have completely different outlooks. So I think it's quite interesting to go back and look at things you've maybe not understood or liked as much.
Yeah, Meg Ryan I really liked.
Oh, she was
easier to like, although she could be quite frustrating. But I think that contributes to the feeling you get about oh, for God's sake, just kiss already.
I think this is her best film, to be honest. I really do. I think it is great.
But yeah, no, I think that's kind of it. I wrote down some like favourite moments, and most of them were just like it's a very subtle, out of the blue stuff, like when he's having the conversation about his divorce, but they're at the football game, so every every 2 minutes they have to do a Mexican wave and sit back down and carry on. I quite like that, and obviously I'll have what she's having scene is
obviously
iconic. So yeah, that's when Harry met Sally. Really, I liked it. I liked it a lot.
Good.
Yeah.
I'm very pleased. Okay, so we'll move on to your recommendation for me, which was Scenes of a Sexual Nature, which came out in 2006. Now, this one, it's not your conventional rom-com. Well, I don't even know if I would say comedy. It's one of those really weird ones where you're like, what?
Oh, I think it's a comedy. I find it hilarious.
There's awkward moments in it. So I'll try and kind of sum this up for you. It definitely does not have the formula of a normal rom-com. It focuses on different couples, different pairings throughout a day on is it Hampstead Heath?
Yeah.
On a summer day, and it's all different relationships and pairings of people. And just seeing this scene play out, basically, all different things. There's awkward scenes, and then there's blind dates and loads of different things. It was hard to pin down this one. And I think my issue with it was that there was very little satisfaction. So, and I'll explain what I mean by that.
Mm-hmm.
So when you watch a rom-com, you're looking for the payoff. So the satisfaction of the couple getting together. We didn't have any of that apart from one, really. I mean, this film, there's loads of big names there. Eileen Atkins and Hugh Bonneville, Tom Hardy, Andrew Lincoln, Ewan McGregor. There's just loads of people you would recognise in it. Even Catherine Tate's in it.
Yeah.
So I don't know. Nothing really ended satisfactorily. I think the one that kind of is the closest to a nice thing is Eileen Atkins, Iris, and Benjamin Whitrose Eddie, who they'd met years and years before, 40 odd years before, on this bench twice, but both were engaged to be married to other people, and they've both been married. Their partners have died, and they both come to the bench, one on a Wednesday, one on a Thursday, so they've always missed each other, but one of them's got the day wrong and come on the wrong day, and they have a conversation and then realise that it's the person that they met all those years ago, and they spend some time together and walking and things. So that was quite nice. But then the other relationship you've got, the one that really confused me was Catherine Tate and Adrian Lester.
Yeah.
Like, what the hell is going on there? So they're like kissing and stuff, but they're getting a divorce. And it's
I think the point is, every single one of them, it's a really very specific scenario. It's not just we're on a date.
Yeah, there's no normal, satisfying relationship. It's all like, obviously, you've got the pair that are divorcing, and then you've got a woman who's just been dumped, and Tom Hardy comes and harasses her in a really weird way, but she's weird too. And then you've got the two gay men talking about having children, one of them wanting children and one of them not. That one doesn't really end well. And then the other one, which I thought was going to be nice, was Hugh Bonneville and Gina McKee, who were in Notting Hill together. And I thought, oh, this is nice. And they were on a blind date. And I mean, there was a few, like, you know, moments where it's a bit sketchy, where you thought, oh, don't, you know, it's getting a bit. And I thought, but no, this is going well. This is going well. And then she looks at this other guy, just looks up and looks at him, and he's just like, right. And he just packs up and he just storms off.
Blazer and some sunglasses, and she's off. It's deliberately looking at the ugliest possible side of things,
it's all
that could
awkward.
go wrong.
Yeah, all awkward things and unconventional relationships and pairings and things that aren't all glossy on the surface like we imagine most things to be. So I didn't really get along very well with this one. Because it kind of like, I was just really confused by so much of it.
It's funny though, right? It's funny.
It was awkward, and it was awkward funny.
Yeah,
like to the point where you would laugh at the awkward situation that they're in.
Yeah. It's like short films.
Yeah,
they've got the same sort of tone. You've got 3 minutes, 5 minutes to be as ridiculous as possible.
You'll see other characters, you know, as you're going along.
Crisscrossing. But that's my kind of film. I like looking at like dipping into lots of different lives and then painting a mosaic of, you know, something. Yeah. And I love how it's all just set on the one location.
Yeah, I liked that part. I did like that it was all set on that one day in that one place. I liked that. But I just wanted more of a payoff. I wanted a bit more of the gloss.
Yeah, I think it was a bit of a risk.
It was a risk. Yeah,
because it's not it's not your beginning, middle, end. I would definitely
give it a go though. I'd recommend people give it a go.
I think if people will watch it for the cast, I think there's so many faces.
I mean,
even like Mark Strong's in there as well, and
it's definitely worth watching. So that was your recommendation for me. So what was the film that you watched that you hadn't seen before?
I think we both went down an Oscar-y kind of route here. I went for the Philadelphia Story. I nearly did Clueless, but we weren't sure whether that was rom-com-y enough. So this is an older film, like much older rom-com from 1940. It's one of those, I'd never seen it. I'd never seen a trailer. I wasn't even sure if I'd seen the poster before. I had no idea who was in it, what it was about or anything. So only what I had in my head. And the opening scene, and I'll highlight this for a reason, very quick, it's only about 30 seconds long, and it plays out in like mime, I suppose. And Katharine Hepburn plays Tracy Lord, and she's literally throwing her husband out. He's called C.K. Dexter Haven, and he's played by Cary Grant. And it's sort of like this cartoonish, almost like Tom and Jerry-ish, and she's snapping his golf clubs, and the music goes. It's very unusual like that. And I thought, I wonder if this is going to be the style of the whole film, because before this and across the 1930s, rom-coms were kind of screwball comedies, very sort of spoofy, satirical, farcical situations, and they all sort of have a battle of the sexes thing going on, don't they? Like, there's always a central female character and then the man or the men around her. But saying all that, you can tell that this film had started to break the mold a bit, sort of transition out of that screwball style, because as the story and the character arc of Tracy progresses, there's just a definite shift into a more, I want to say, sophisticated romantic comedy for that time. And I think it's probably the reason it was such a big influence on a lot of the rom-coms we have today. I think even like Bridget Jones, How to Lose a Guy in 10 Days, Four Weddings and a Funeral, My Best Friend's Wedding, The Wedding Crasher, The Wedding Planner, particularly the wedding films, because straight after the opening scene we get a newspaper headline, and turns out Tracy Lord's family is one of the oldest and wealthiest in Philadelphia, very high profile society people. And we've jumped ahead 2 years and she's getting remarried already. And this time it's to someone who is, I think someone said in the film, so obviously beneath her. So obviously a much lower class, which means that she's got him wrapped around her finger, which she likes. Because that's the essence of her character, really. She wears the trousers, literally.
Quite literally, Katharine Hepburn always wore trousers.
She just commands everyone around her. She's quite brash and quite a masculine character, I think, for the time. And Katharine Hepburn's perfect for that, and her voice.
Yeah, she brought that to a lot of her roles.
Because she'll just tell everyone what to do, like this, and she'll tell you.
That was very good.
Was it?
That was very
I've never
good.
done that before. So, but when it comes to romance and relationship, this makes her really difficult because men just can't live up to the high standards that she's got for herself. She finds human imperfection unforgivable, someone says. The editor of a gossip magazine describes her as the unapproachable Miss Lord. And it's this magazine that her ex-husband approaches to get even with her, basically by arranging for a reporter, Macaulay Connor, played by James Stewart, and a photographer, and himself, to infiltrate the private wedding in the family home and expose the family with this ridiculous, undignified article. And that's where you get most of the screwball stuff, so in the first half of the film. And so Tracy cottons on to what they're doing, and she ends up roping her entire family into this sort of this charade, I guess. they're all pumping themselves up and making themselves ridiculous, and in the end nobody in this house is who they really say they are. I quite like that. Everyone's sort of sarcastic and passive aggressive, especially the two exes. That's quite amusing. But then over the 24 hours leading up to the wedding, these facades start to slip a bit. So Tracy and her ex-husband start to reminisce about old times, and you think, they're actually getting on a little bit here. And then she develops a connection with Macaulay, the reporter, who's sort of like living paycheck to paycheck, and he sees the real her and brings that out. And then she starts questioning, do I want to marry this new fiance? Until she's got all three of them pining over her.
That's the bit I don't like. The relationship with James Stewart. I was like, why is this happening?
It's a bit out of the blue,
she's like almost like a hopeless romantic in a way.
Hopeless in lots of ways.
Yeah, she sees this like ideal of a person. Oh, this is, it would be like this. And it never is. She just like sees it a certain way, and
but she does the same with herself, though. Like she's almost like a self-proclaimed goddess. Everyone has to worship her. And that's what happens. Really, that high society snobbery just starts unraveling until she starts reflecting on herself, and by the end of it, she's saying, "I feel like a human being." And that's where the more sophisticated bit comes from. And I think because it's based on a play. It is more sort of dialogue heavy and more philosophical towards the end, and then she has to make the big decision who's she gonna be with.
So what did you think of the actors in this? The three main actors, because James Stewart got an Oscar for this.
Unusual role for him to win for, I think. But he was very good. I really like the scenes where he was really drunk. And he turns up at Cary Grant's house, and he keeps referring to him by his full name. Now listen here, CJ Dexter Haven. Yeah, I thought I did really like it. I mean, you only have to look at the names of the people in the film to know the caliber of acting it is.
Yeah.
Hepburn, Grant, and Stewart.
I'm glad you enjoyed this because you're not
Yeah,
one for watching older films, really.
I don't know if I was just a bit bored though. Like, I don't know whether it's because I knew where it was going.
It's quite trivial, I think.
Yeah, I think first half it was fun, and then second half it sort of wasn't so fun. It was a lot of her just making her mind up, and I don't know whether it's as entertaining. But yeah, no, I still think it was really good.
Oh, good. Okay, I just have to apologise in advance for what this is going to be. It's horrendous. So, right, my film that I chose that I haven't seen before.
You chose.
Yes, I did. I chose.
I tried to talk you out of it.
As you did. I wish I'd listened. Was Moonstruck, which Cher won the Oscar for. It came out in 1987. And this film is about a woman called Loretta Castorini. She's a bookkeeper, I suppose, accounts and things from Brooklyn in New York. And she's getting married to this man that she doesn't love. She just agrees to marry him, who's an absolute twit. And is old, and I just don't see it. And then he has had this feud with his brother from 5 years ago. You don't know what it was. And he says he's going to Italy to see his dying mother, and they're going to have the wedding in a month when he comes back. And can she ring the brother and ask him to come to the wedding? So she does this. She rings the brother, and he's horrible and won't come to see her. So she goes to see him in this bakery, and it turns out the reason that they had this feud, the two brothers, because the older brother, whose name is Johnny, so Johnny was talking to his brother Ronnie, played by Nicolas Cage, and when Ronnie was talking to him, he wasn't paying attention to what he was doing in the bakery, and he put his hand in a slicer, and his hand was chopped off.
Oh.
So he's only got one hand.
I don't remember any of this.
And this is why he hates his brother, because he thinks it's his brother's fault that he lost his hand. And when he lost his hand,
handiwork.
Yes, and when he lost his hand, his fiancée left him for another man. Okay. Because he'd lost his hand, and he blames it all on his brother. Honestly, it is horrendous. So I had like a group of things that I wanted to like talk about in this, like chemistry and believability, like satisfaction, the highlights of the film, all that kind of thing. Right. I can honestly say that the chemistry is non-existent. I just don't get it whatsoever. The acting was horrendous. I actually don't know how this film got made. Like, what studio executive sat down and watched this finished version and went, yep, we'll release that just as it is. It is absolute crap. The formula of the film makes no sense whatsoever. She just keeps getting persuaded to keep seeing this Ronnie. Like, they just end up sleeping together. I mean, it's just mad. He picks her up at one point, knocks the table aside, and she says, "Well, where are you taking me?" And he goes, "To the bed." It's like, are you serious? Who wrote this frigging script? It's awful. It is horrendous. It's like all shouty. I don't remember a
single moment. And that's how forgettable I found
Olympia Dukakis won, I think, as well for best supporting. I don't know why. She does fuck all.
The thing is, it's not so
horrendous.
Much in the case of Cher. It's not so much how did she win. It's how did Glenn Close not win for Fatal Attraction.
Who in their right mind voted for this over Fatal Attraction? I just don't. I do not understand. So there's no chemistry. The believability of the film is non-existent because I didn't buy any of it whatsoever. I didn't like the supporting characters in the film. I just wasn't bothered about anybody. The highlight of the film for me was the beginning and the end when That's Amore by Dean Martin was played. I sang along to that both times. That was the highlight.
And then your face just fell in the middle.
That was the highlight of the film for me, was the leading credits and the end credits song.
When it ended.
That was it. So
shall I tell you a film that I kind of match it with in my head? I think Moonstruck and the film Prizzi's Honor go very hand in hand. I
I've
find
not
both
seen
of them
Prizzi's Honor,
very
but I might
forgettable.
not ever see it now, considering.
I mean, it's
hated this one
it's
so
what it's
much.
Jack Nicholson, isn't it, and Angelica Houston.
Mm-hmm.
So they're much,
And
I
she
don't
won
say
an
much
Oscar for
better
that, didn't
names.
she,
But
Angelica
she did,
Houston?
yeah. But it's the same kind of like, it feels like the same sort of time period, sort of same Italian American
Yeah.
kind of
It
setting.
was
But
all
again, I
put
just
on as
couldn't
well.
tell
The
you what was going
Italian
on.
American was so fake. They were all
Yeah.
putting on this Italian American accent. It was horrendous. It really was
It really
horrendous.
quite bad.
And it looked awful, and none of it made sense. I hated it. I gave it 1 star. I don't think
That's quite
it's very
generous.
rare I give anything 1 star. I'm usually nicer than that, but I absolutely hated this. I don't know how it's like looked on as a classic. I just don't understand.
It's weird that some people say they like this film.
Yeah, I just don't understand
Really hard to like.
where this kind of love for it has come from, because it really is absolute crap. So moving on to something nicer, I hope.
Yeah. So that was our unseen films, wasn't it?
Yes, that was, yeah.
Yeah. So we're going to do some favourites.
Yay! I needed it after
Yay.
that car
I
crash of
know.
a day. It was horrendous.
I think it's one of those things, isn't it? Like, we never review bad films.
No, we don't.
So it's a little bit
Yes.
different.
Okay, so what was your favourite you picked for you, Matt?
Well, we're doing our top 5s at the end of the
Yes, we
episode.
are.
So I'm not going to do what was my number 1, because we've covered it in another episode. And I'm not going to do my number 2, because we've covered it in a few and we're going to cover it again soon.
Yes.
So I'm going to go with a different one from my list of favourites, and that's My Big Fat Greek Wedding. And I have to say, I do think this is massively, not underrated, but just underseen.
Yes,
I think
I'd agree
the
with
people
you
who do see this love this. And I think it's one of the best written films ever. I genuinely do think it is. So it's from 2002, and we start the film. I like doing this, the opening scene. It's 5 a.m. in Chicago, and Tula Portocalis arrives to open up the diner owned by her enormous Greek family. But she's tired, she's frumpy, and she's only 30. And every day since she was a teenager, she's been told by her family that she needs to get married soon because she's starting to look old. And that basically is the expectation of her, really, as a Greek woman. You marry a Greek boy, you make Greek babies, and you feed everyone until the day you die. And her family are so pro-Greek, especially her dad, who never stops preaching Greek superiority. He says there's 2 kinds of people, Greeks and everyone else who wishes they were Greek. and just to make the point even clearer, like, in the middle of this really modest middle-class neighborhood, their house is modeled after the Parthenon. It's got the columns and the Greek god statues and a Greek flag painted on the garage door. So amidst all these customs and traditions and expectations, Tula's options are really limited, and the women who don't get married work in the family diner. Simple as.
Yeah.
But she just wants to escape and have a different life. Like, she's just not happy. So the first part of the film I love. It's great because she sort of makes this change, and I love a good montage, a makeover montage. It's my favourite thing. And she manages to convince them to let her go to college to do a computer course, to help with the system they use at the diner. Ends up getting a new job at her aunt's travel agency, because they own like a dry cleaners and a diner and a travel agency. She starts wearing a bit of makeup, she dresses a bit trendier, she wears contact lenses, and it's like she's a new person. And there's a moment where she looks in the mirror, and for the first time in the film, she just smiles at herself, and it's so lovely. It's so good. And right on cue, she meets Ian Miller. He's like a vegetarian teacher from a very small, quiet, conservative, non-Greek family, emphasis on the non-Greek part. And it's the perfect fairy tale. Like, she's literally swept off her feet. It's love at first sight. And they start this relationship in secret, because she knows that there's absolutely no way, no hope in hell that her family are going to approve and accept this. And even if they did, she thinks, how is it going to work? Our backgrounds are so different, and their families, and hers just happened to be big, loud, and full of breeding Greek eaters, and nobody has ever gone out with a non-Greek before, but they do find out. And so the rest of the film is all about how Ian and his parents are sort of integrated into this unit, this enormous family unit where she's got 27 first cousins, and they're all called Nick, Anita, Diane, and Nick, and everything's so over the top. And instead of like a nice quiet meet the parents, there's like this huge like family party, and they're on the front lawn with lamb on a spit, and it's just, yeah, and there's ouzo everywhere, and there's meat on trays, and it's vegetarian. I absolutely love it. And then obviously they do get engaged, and it's about the prep for the wedding and how interfering everybody is, and the bridesmaids' dresses are shocking, and the invitations have the parents' names wrong, and all sorts. I think it's an absolute joy, and it's literally laugh a second and quote per minute at least, and it just flies by. I think you get to the end and you could press rewind and start again. I could watch it forever. It's based on like a one-woman show that she did. So this is Nia Vardalos who wrote it and starred in it, and obviously it was successful. It's been adapted into this screenplay, and honestly, she was Oscar nominated for writing. She was Golden Globe nominated for performance in a comedy for the Golden Globes. They all got a SAG Award nomination for ensemble cast, and that sums it up for me. It's the writing, it's her, and it's the ensemble.
That's how I feel about When Harry Met Sally. The writing quality is fantastic. The supporting characters are fantastic, and as a whole, it just all comes together and makes a fantastic movie. I feel exactly the same way about that.
Yeah, but the thing is, she wrote it based on how she met her husband. So as bizarre as it all is, it's so believable as well, because it's, that's how she met her husband, Ian. Like it's legit what happened, and just all the funny little. I say funny, it's very sweet. Like all the little sacrifices that he makes, including getting baptized in the paddling pool.
Yeah, I remember that
in the Greek Orthodox Church. God, it honestly makes me howl every time, and it's brilliantly acted.
Movie.
Yeah,
Definitely.
And there's not necessarily any big names in here. I associate these actors with this film. That's what they were known for, and I love it. Yeah. I love them. I love the characters, and I love the people. And the music's great. It's all very traditional Greek music. I'd listen to that standalone. I'd do that. So yeah, honestly,
like
highly
recommend.
Watch. I love it. It's one of my favourite films of all time.
Fabulous. Right.
I love it.
Okay. Similar for me. I haven't gone with like my top. I've gone with one that's in my favourites. And I would say this is probably the most modern film that I go back and rewatch and rewatch and rewatch. Usually it's older films. This is the most modern, I think. And it's About Time, that came out in 2013. I cannot tell you how many times I've seen this movie. I absolutely love it. It's just brilliant. So this was written and directed by Richard Curtis, of Four Weddings and a Funeral and Love Actually fame. And he's just fantastic. He makes such a great British movie. It's so relatable. Everything in it, all the characters, all the scenarios are so recognisable to our British life. And that's part of the thing I love about it. And the characters are always so easy to root for. I really do think he just has this great ability to write fantastic movies. So the plot of this one, it is a little bit far-fetched. It has its own little fantasy element. So you learn from the narration that this is about a man called Tim. And when he's 21, he finds out that he can travel in time. Only the men in the family can do it. His dad, Bill Nye, tells him when he's 21 that only the men can travel, and they can only do it within their own lifetime. They can't go to other places. But obviously this just opens up his entire life. And he uses this to help him get a girlfriend, because that's what he wants. He wants love, basically. And Tim's played by Donald Gleeson, who, honest to God, is so fantastic. I just melt. I would literally marry that man in a heartbeat. If you didn't know,
very versatile.
Yeah, if you didn't know he was Irish, you would think he was this lovely, old-fashioned, awkward English gentleman, because he just does it so well. And he meets Mary, and falls head over heels in love. And she's played by Rachel McAdams, who is just like a rom-com queen. She's
yeah.
just
She's
fantastic.
versatile as well in her own,
I
in her own
love
way.
Rachel McAdams. I really, really like her.
Half and half, but I do like when she does do stuff good.
And basically, he spends parts of the film trying to get her, and then the other part is just about their life. You know, getting together, meeting parents, getting married, having children, and that's it. Really, it's just about a life. There are certain things about this I really love. The chemistry is brilliant. I think it's very believable. Even though Mary's American, it makes no difference to the believability of this at all. Because he's so grounded, and you just believe he loves her. Simple as that. I love the side characters in this. There's so many great characters in this. You've got Bill Nighy playing the dad, who's brilliant. Yeah. Lindsay Duncan as the mum is fantastic. She's like the queen. They say a fashion icon's the queen, and you can totally see it. You've got Lydia Wilson playing his sister Kit Kat. She's absolutely mental, proper out there. Tom Hollander is fantastic as the dad's playwright friend Harry. He's the most sarcastic, miserable man that you'll ever meet, but he's just brilliant. Margot Robbie was in this, in an early role for her. And also Vanessa Kirby has a really funny role in this, playing Mary's friend. And obviously she's become very big now after doing The Crown and Mission Impossible and things like that. So it's got a really great cast of characters. And again, like my favourites always do, it's not just about the pair, the romantic pair, it's what else is in the film, who else is in it, and what they bring to it. And in terms of satisfaction, this has the rom-com payoff. Not your usual, because it doesn't have your usual boy loses girl finds girl at the end. That's not the line for this, but it's just this film. I've never known another film like it to leave you kind of inspired and feeling hopeful and happy about life. He says at the end, one of his last lines is that he doesn't travel back in time at all anymore. He just lives as if it's the full final day of my extraordinary, ordinary life. And I just think that's such a lovely concept, is to just take life for what it is and enjoy all the moments of it.
Yeah, I think that's what makes films feel good, though, isn't it?
Yeah, it just leaves me feeling happy that life isn't all doom and gloom. There are lovely bits in it, and you just feel inspired. So it's fantastic. There's so many highlights. There's some great montages in here. There's a great one when they've got together and it's in a train station, and there's a band at the end of the train station which play all the way through. And you see time passing through them, moving in together, and then them going to work and different things. And so that's fantastic. The wedding is brilliant. They used most of their budget on the storm at the end.
Right.
It was a massive rainstorm, horrible weather, and the it's not a gazebo, but they had like a tent thing up,
like a marquee thing.
Yeah. And it blows up and just gets taken away by the wind, and apparently that was a huge part of their budget for the film. Because it obviously had to be done as an effect. So that's fantastic. It's not your usual, and I think that's what I like. It doesn't have that glossy like usual wedding. She's wearing a red dress and she goes down the aisle to this ridiculous song, and the weather's awful and everybody's getting soaking wet and the wind's
but isn't
terrible.
That British?
But it's
yes,
exactly. It's just not glossy, it's just realistic,
and
that's what I love about it.
Bonkers.
I could not recommend this one highly enough, because it just
I've seen
leaves
it the once,
you feeling
but I don't
so
remember
satisfied.
It very well, so I do want to watch that again this
watch
week.
It again, because it just leaves you feeling so happy and hopeful, and I just can't think of a better one for Valentine's Day than that.
Sounds very good to me. So it'd be interesting to see whether that is going to make it into your top 5. I have a feeling it's probably going to be there. So we've done a top 5 rom-coms.
There would be a lot of other types of things in there if it included romance as a whole. But in terms of rom-coms, it is a very different list.
Yeah, that's true. So, I mean, shall I kick us off? If we do our numbers 5 to 2.
Yes, you go first and then I'll do mine. Then we'll reveal our top ones at the end.
I don't think we'll have too much crossover here. Maybe a tiny bit.
No, I don't think at all, really. I think there'll be one for definite.
My number 5, honestly, it drops down lists every time we do it. And I wonder whether that's because I've watched it too much or maybe it's just not that good. But we're talking about favourite and not best, so I have kept it in, and that is The Holiday.
I was so tempted to put this in, but I didn't.
It's not that good, is it? It's kind of shit.
No, it's not that. It's not that. I think of it more as a romance than a rom-com. So I would have put it in there. If it was a romance film, it would definitely have been in my top 5. But I just don't see it as a rom-com exactly.
Yeah, I mean, I just think it's a really cosy, easy watch. I think that's probably why I do it.
Yeah.
It's the right level of Christmassy. I know it's not a Christmas episode.
And Nancy Myers as well, she's perfect.
And sorry?
Nancy Myers, the director.
Yes, of course,
she's just fantastic at that type of film.
Yeah. I just like the concept more than anything. I think it's exciting. It's about spontaneity and adventure and going with the flow and letting go of the past and Jude Law and stuff. So,
Jude Law, just Jude Law.
About Jude Law, yeah. The ultimate...
just Jude Law.
Yeah. Come to my cottage. And then number 4, again, arguably maybe not a rom-com, but I think it is. It's listed as a comedy drama romance, but I put The Best Exotic Marigold Hotel because I do genuinely think it's a very life-affirming film, a bit like About Time. If people don't know what it is, it's a group of British pensioners who all have the same idea to just pack up and go to India and live in this luxury retirement hotel, which isn't quite as it seems on the brochure.
No, absolutely not.
A lot of them, they're just going like to start over, but bear in mind that these are like septuagenarians or whatever.
And all very famous septuagenarians as well.
Absolutely, yeah. You got Judi Dench, Maggie Smith, Bill Nye, Penelope Wilton, Tom Wilkinson, Celia Imrie, my queen, and Dev Patel runs the hotel badly. Yeah,
he's very good in that, actually.
It's just amazing.
Really
the whole thing
it is very
great.
Much a feel-good film, definitely. Yeah. It has that.
It's that life's too short message. life's too short. You're never too old to live life to the full, and to make every second count. Yeah, I think it's a wonderful, wonderful film. And the music, again, is fantastic. Number 3, My Big Fat Greek Wedding. As I've already said, it's hilarious, touching, realistic, incredible piece of writing and ensemble performance, amazing music, and you just don't want it to end. There's no other film like it, apart from the sequel, which nobody asked for. It's the same template with the same jokes. It was kind of pointless. Number 2, before I pause, is Love Actually, obviously. And again, I like that it's a realistic-y, for grown-ups. It's
Richard Curtis all over.
It is, It's not about everything going right, It's a microcosm of crisscrossing stories, and everyone's individual story is different, and everyone's situation's different, and it shows some of the uglier side of relationships and what happens when things go wrong, just as well as it does things that go right. And again, one of the best casts ever assembled. Hugh Grant, Colin Firth, Liam Neeson, Emma Thompson, Alan Rickman, Keira Knightley, Laura Linney, Bill Nye. Amazing writing and directed by Richard Curtis. Quintessentially British, and I love it.
Absolutely.
I
think it's probably the most loved British rom-com as well, because Americans love Actually as well.
Some people hate that film. I don't know why.
I don't see it. I don't know how you can not love that film.
No.
Okay, so my top 5 rom-coms, like I said, would be very different if it was just romance in general. I've gone very much rom-coms only. So my number 5 is 13 Going on 30 with Jennifer Garner. And this is just so much fun. It's just lovely. It's a girl who's 13 and she wants to be 30, flirty and thriving. And she gets her wish. I know, great. I'll hopefully will be at the end of this year. I don't know about flirty and thriving, but I will definitely be 30. So this bit, she gets her wish basically, and it's the fun and the comedy comes in the fact that she's gone from a 13-year-old to a 30-year-old overnight. So it's like
just big, isn't it? It's big for women.
it's like it's just goes from being a child to an adult and having to deal with all of the things that come along with that. And she finds that her life in those years is not what she wanted it to be. She's actually not a nice person at all. And then overnight, she's this different person. She gets back in touch with her old friend, played by Mark Ruffalo, and this is his most gorgeous, brooding, great. He's just so attractive in this film. It's just lovely.
Calm down, Mary.
Yeah, he is. He's lovely. It's one of my favourites that he's in as well. But Jennifer Garner makes this movie. She really does. It's a role that just fits her like a glove. It's so innocent and friendly, and I absolutely recommend it. It's brilliant. My number 4 is Notting Hill. And I'm not going to go too much into this because we know this, Hugh Grant.
Yeah, because his door's blue.
Yeah, his door's blue, and it's a normal person from Notting Hill, funnily enough, who happens to bump into literally a famous actress played by Julia Roberts, and they, try and be together, not together. Lots of things happen in between. Perfectly written. Again, it's a great script. Notting Hill. Full of great supporting characters as well. Another reason why I love it. I love the scene with the brownie. It's a terrible excuse to hog the brownie. You're not fooling anyone.
I was thinking of Horse and Hound magazine. Sorry, I just
it is hilarious. It's really good, and it's another one with that great payoff at the end, just satisfying. My number 3 is Pretty Woman, because how can you not have Pretty Woman in the top 5? It's just fabulous, isn't it? This is Julia Roberts' star-making role. She was just, I think everybody on the planet fell in love with Julia Roberts when she did Pretty Woman, and perfectly reasonably as well. I think, again, great script, brilliant characters, supporting characters in this as well. Hector Elizondo, I just love. He's one of my favourite supporting characters. That he's just brilliant. And it's full of lovely scenes, and
it's a grin. From beginning to end.
You can't not like this movie. I've never met anybody who doesn't like it. Even my husband likes it. Yes, that's a rarity.
He's a good boy.
Yeah. So it's just fantastic. And then my number 2, we've just discussed it, is About Time.
I see.
Perfect script, great characters. Satisfying, absolutely 100% satisfying, and just what you want for a rom-com. So there we are. Right, okay, so number
cream
1
of the crop.
Number 1,
hopefully
Matt,
not cream of the crap. It's Pretty Woman, obviously.
Obviously, of course it is.
Where has everyone been living under a rock?
I know. It's your absolute favourite.
I think it's the perfect rom-com. I think it's the perfect film ever. I think it's got everything, and I was trying to put my finger on why, though, just why, and why for me.
Yeah.
And I think it's a balance of it being adult and fairy tale.
Yeah.
I like that it can be both. Yeah, and I think it's got one of the best chemistry pairings put to screen ever. I think the story behind the making of the film is quite fascinating. I love that it's got this, had this really unique journey to getting made.
Yeah, it would have been a completely other film as well if it hadn't been directed
and I would have watched that one too.
I know.
Oh dear. I think the fact that it launched Julia Roberts into superstardom is, speaks volumes about how good that platform was for her and how good she was in it. You mentioned the supporting cast, killer soundtrack. Go West, Roy Orbison, Prince, Bowie, Roxette. And just, it's iconic scene after iconic scene. It's endlessly quotable. Yeah. And it's the film that people, no matter who they are, if you scroll past it on the telly, you drop everything and you watch it.
Yeah, it's hard to turn that one off.
Yeah, I think it's perfect.
Yeah, totally agree with that. Yeah, I'm with you on that one.
I wonder what yours is going to be.
My number one, is quite obvious. You'll have guessed it from just listening to the episode, is When Harry Met Sally. I think this is probably one of the most perfect scripts that has ever been written. I think line for line, it is absolutely perfect. I love that, again, the concept of it being made based on Rob Reiner's relationship, his friendship with Nora Ephron, and then bringing those elements together to make the script. I love the pairing, though very unbelievable to think about it. I think Meg Ryan and Billy Crystal are actually brilliant together. You would never in a million years put them together, but it works. It absolutely works.
But sometimes that's the thing, it's that opposites do attract sometimes.
Exactly. Exactly. It really does.
The film, isn't it?
It is brilliant. And I love Carrie Fisher in it, and his best friend in it as well is hilarious. They're just
when they get in the taxi and leave them.
Yeah, of course. I won't do anything yet. I won't do anything. It's like, yeah, should we get a cab? Yeah, I'll go.
Okay, go. And they're gone.
Just leave. But it's filled up with these other supporting characters that really build the whole thing. It's got a great classic scenes in it. The I'll Have What She's Having is just brilliant. I love the split screens. I love the couple stories, the older couple stories. I love the one that says, I knew like you know about a good melon.
Oh yeah.
It's just like, okay.
It just cuts away.
I love the soundtrack as well. I think that's just brilliant. I love the tone of the soundtrack. What it brings to it, that kind of Frank Sinatra type.
It's all Harry Connick Jr.
Yeah,
I think.
it is. It's all Harry Connick Jr. Yeah, he did the whole soundtrack, but it's got that Rat Pack kind of New York tone.
It's very New York.
Yeah, and it just absolutely works to a T. And put all of those things together, all of those elements, and you have got the perfect film. I just love it. Me and my husband are watching it tonight as our Valentine's Day film. So, yes, I absolutely think it's...
I might watch Saw.
I mean, okay, if that takes your fancy.
Something light.
But yeah, I think absolutely any one of the five that we've each picked would be a perfect film to put on for Valentine's Day.
Yeah.
I really do. They all leave you happy.
Yeah.
So there you have it.
Some
Our
nice
Valentine's
rom-coms.
Day recommendations.
Yeah.
Don't watch Moonstruck, God forbid. I'm just that's my main takeaway from this. If you take anything away from this podcast, do not watch Moonstruck.
That's what I'll do tonight. I'll watch Fatal Attraction.
She didn't even sing in it. It's terrible. Oh God!
There's no Shoop Shoop song.
Anyway, on a nicer note, what are you going to recommend as your film? Not Moonstruck, obviously.
I was going to recommend My Big Fat Greek Wedding, but I recommended it in week 2. That's how much I like it. So I'm going to go for one that I do want to kind of promote because I don't think people have seen it very much. Now I am going to go with The Best Exotic Marigold Hotel this time.
Oh, it's a lovely film.
On paper, you might look at it and think, no, but like consider the cast who's in it and the fact that it is a comedy.
Yeah.
And more than anything, it's the epitome of feel good because of what it's about and the magic that happens to these people who've taken the leap of faith, literally boarded a plane and gone, and just how things work out for them all. It's just great spending time with those people. I mean, if you actively choose not to spend time with Judi Dench, Maggie Smith and Celia Imrie, I don't know what's wrong with you. I genuinely don't know what's wrong with
tastes.
You. Yeah, and Maggie Smith is, I mean, she plays like a very racist old lady, but her arc is fantastic. Brilliant. Yeah. And it's so, just everything's so well-rounded. Yeah, and it's up there.
Again, it's just another one. It's an easy watch, feel good, satisfying film. It's Absolutely. One of those. Well, my recommendation's quite similar, really, for the same reasons. Is 13 Going on 30. It's a little bit different. It's got a little bit that fantasy element to it, but you watch it for Jennifer Garner because she's just absolutely fabulous. She really played a fantastic part, and you just love her. You absolutely love her. And again, it's feel good, easy watching. and
Yeah.
it'll leave you happy.
That sounds
So,
good.
Yeah.
I was writing down your top 5, just curiosity, and I've gone 13 going on 30 in brackets big. It's just big.
It's better than big.
It's big with boobs.
It's much better than big. Yeah, as much as I love Tom Hanks, it's better than big.
Fair enough. I shall try and watch that one.
It's worth it just for the thriller
That should be on the
scene.
poster. It's big with boobs.
You should watch it just for the thriller scene. Fabulous. Oh, and Andy Serkis.
thriller scene.
Andy Serkis is in this.
Oh, I love Andy Serkis.
He is great in this. He plays her gay boss. He's so funny.
I had a dream just like that.
He's so funny. It's brilliant. So yeah,
Fabulous.
you should. I want you to watch this and tell me what you think. I really do. It is really good.
Okie dokie.
And that's it. That's Valentine's Day.
What is coming up next?
Our next episode is musicals.
Yeah.
Now we've picked the musicals with the same format. So we've picked one we haven't seen, one that the other is recommending, and a favourite. However, all of the films are based on the fact that they all have a big anniversary coming up. So we've had a limited group to pick from. And picked our
but
films
it's all things
from
that are
those.
like 10, 20, 30, 35, 80.
Yes, they've
year
got big
anniversaries.
anniversaries coming up. So
I don't know if we've discussed this properly, so I'm going to tell you now. So we do have a favourite, an unseen, and a recommended. But we're also going to do a new musical each as well. And you will be doing Cats.
I will be doing Cats.
You will be doing Cats. Well, I've seen Cats, so you're going to do Cats, and I'm going to watch The Prom.
I thought I was getting away with the 3. Oh no.
But if you do like films like, to just drop some in the mix, West Side Story, The King and I, and Evita, we will be covering those.
Yeah.
And some others.
And some others, which we won't reveal right now.
Yeah.
Okay, so
interesting.
I hope you have a lovely Valentine's Day, whether you are celebrating it with someone or if you're not. I hope you still have a great day and watch some great movies.
Yeah, stay out of the weather.
Yeah, might get blown away.
Oh dear. I'd be lucky.
So it's bye from me.
It's bye from me. You can find us all on social media. Let us know what you thought. And it's bye from me.